Hello again. I want to say a big thank you to all the comments I've had over the last week or so. Billy for Glasgow, a wee special mention, mate. Thank you. I really appreciate it to everyone, really. It really means a lot. It's nice to know that people are watching the videos and people appreciate them. I feel as though I ramble like there's nobody's business, but hey, I keep saying I'm going to make these videos quick, and one of these days I will. But this might not be the day. I don't know. I'll try. Let's see. I just want to quickly mention as well, before I start, I write for a blog, I guess, website. We review albums, we review live gigs, we talk about rock music. It's all heavy metal rock, blues rock, etc., etc. You can check us out. I'll put a link in the description. We're called devilsgatemedia.com. We're starting up a new unsigned section for bands that are unsigned, so if you're interested, there's ways of getting in touch with us, and I'll put some stuff in the description. Please do, if you get in touch, or if you're signed, if you're a PR company, please get in touch with us. We're growing all the time and we're doing really well, so I would appreciate your support there. Otherwise, just go and check out if you want to learn and listen or learn about some new rock music and read some reviews. Check us out. devilsgatemedia.com. Okay. Right, let's get back to this mix that I've been working on and banging on about. Now, I've kind of stepped on a little bit, but I will kind of backtrack and go over everything as I do it. Today I want to talk to you about the kick and the bass. Now, before I kind of start, I'm going to I keep saying I'll quickly say this. I'll try quickly. To me, the main three elements of any track are the kick, the snare, and the vocals, because those are the three elements that live in the centre of the mix. Those are the things that are right in your face in the middle, or they should be, in my view. I mean, obviously, every track's different, but what I try to do is work on, get the kick and the snare working properly, then get the vocal working with that. But before I go into the vocal, I like to get the bass sitting in with the kick drum first. Not that the bass is one of these main elements in most songs. Sometimes it is, but I mean not in most songs. But you've got to have the bass sitting nicely with the kick drum and the snare, so it doesn't interfere. It's got to sit round them and complement, but without getting in the way. And then you can make the vocals work on top of that. I hope that makes sense. So this is a little bit of how I do that. I'm going to show you now. Okay. If we solo my mic, sorry, wrong thing. Right. So now I'm still talking, still being heard, which is great, because I soloed the wrong one before and did a whole video and had to redo it again. Sorry, folks. Professional sound engineer at work. Right. Let's have a look at this. So we've got the kick here, kick grip. So if we solo it out, so we can have a listen. And I'm still on, yep. So if we have a listen, let me take off the effects and have a listen to what we've got. Sounds fine, it's not too bad, but there's a lot of high frequency information going on in this one. These drums are actually, it's a drum VST. I have no idea what one it is. This is a downloaded multi-track file from cambridge/mt.org, I think it is. And I just use it to practice on it. I don't like to ask my clients to use their music. I'd rather just download these files as I can and use these. A lot of high frequency information going on in that. So in the track, it's getting in the way of the cymbals, it's getting in the way of the snare, and it's getting in the way of the vocals, more to the point. So what I've done is I've put an EQ on it. We can turn it on, or we'll actually turn it off and have a listen in a second. Now, what I've done is I've put a high pass on number one, and I'm using the bandwidth just to create a little bump, which ends up at around 80 hertz. Which is the area I like. That I feel that the kick, that's where it hits you in the chest. So it boosts around 80 hertz, but it's cutting everything off below 60, roughly. I've boosted a little bit here at 170, just I wanted a tighter little boost there, and I'm doing a 1.5 dB cut around 500 Hertz, and then I'm doing the same here at the top end as I did at the bottom end. I'm using a low pass filter, and I'm using the bandwidth again to create a little bump slightly below where I'm cutting off the higher frequencies. So if we listen to it without, and then I'll bring the EQ in. See how that high frequency information disappears there? We really don't need. I mean, the kick sounds just as good without the high frequency information as it did with it. So that's that. Now, this is a little trick here I learnt from Sean Tyas, in fact, dance music producer and DJ, and he uses an effect in Logic, I think it is, but this is the equivalent. It's from GVST. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's Mac and PC compatible. I'm on a PC, so as I say, don't quote me on it. Now what this does is, if I bring up this one here and show you the kick drum without the G clip on it, can you see all these extra bits associated with the transient? Now let me put G clip on and show you what happens. They disappear. And it's, as you can see here, it's clipping off these extra bits, peaks and whatnot, that just aren't needed, to be honest. They don't make a big difference to the sound. There's a very slight difference to the sound. But what it is doing is creating a lot more headroom for us in the bottom end. It's giving us a lot more space to work with. So just a little trick that I like to use. Obviously, don't go overboard with it, but just cut off what you don't need. I mean, bring the clip down until you know it's done what it's doing, and if you can hear it, then you're taking it down too much. So that's the kick drum. Now what I am doing next is, if we have a look at the bass just quickly, I keep saying quickly, but one of these days, this is our original bass track. Now what I've done is I've added in 2 extra ones here. Now I've added in a bass crush, which has got this amazing plugin on it that is exactly the same setup as we had on the drums. I haven't changed anything, so I'm doing exactly the same thing with the bass. I'm sending the bass into that, and that's my sidechain compression on the bass, and both of these end up in my bus. Now, to enable the bass to be heard, to be able to hear the notes, especially in smaller speakers, I like to add a little bit of distortion. Now, so I'll do this, probably end up doing the same thing to the kick drum eventually, but we can just talk about it on the bass. And what I've actually got on here, I've just created sending this bass into this track again, and on it I've got a distortion effect from TSE. In fact, I had 2 effects on here. And I've plumped for this one. This one's a little bit more extreme, but this is a little bit more subtle. And it just creates a bit of harmonic distortion. I just blend that in, and it enables the bass to be heard through the mix. So if we solo the bass with the kick, we can hear it. I'm going to just turn off Nova first. I'll come to that. Now the distortion sounds really obvious now, but when you hear it in the mix, it's not at all. So that's, if we take out the crush as well, that's the original bass. That's it with the crush, and then if we bring in this distortion, okay, that just enables it to be heard in the mix, which I'll let you hear shortly. So if we now have a look at the last little thing that I wanted to talk about in this video, it's this fantastic free plugin. Again, a free plugin. Can you believe it? Let's switch it on. This is an active EQ from the Tokyo Dawn Labs. So this is the Nova, TDR Nova. And what I've done is I've put a little boost here, which is just above where the bass, the kick is being boosted, so that we can have a little boost on the bass. But more importantly, I've created a dynamic EQ here on roundabout where that fundamental, where that kick drum was hitting, where I wanted that kick to come through. So around that, between 80 and 100 Hertz. As you see here, I think I've got it on 90, is it? Where's it gone? Yeah, I've got it on 90 Hertz. And what I'm doing is, this is acting like it's not a compressor, it's turning it down. Every time the kick hits, it's going to get turned down at this frequency. So it's easier if I just show you, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Oops. Let's pin that so it doesn't disappear. Play. Can you see? And you can hear how much that helps that kick to come through. If I drop this out and we play that again, the bass really masks the kick drum in places. But if I bring that in, there's no masking whatsoever. So that's what I'm using this for. I think it's a fantastic plugin. It's free. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Sorry, just as a little stop the press, I forgot to mention when I originally was talking about this this plugin here. What I've done is I've set it to external sidechain. Now, as you should know in Reaper, we're receiving it from the kick group, but we're receiving audio 1 and 2 from the kick group, and that's getting sent into audio 3 and 4 of our bass track, which is the side chain basically. So it's the external side chain of any track in Reaper is audio 3 and 4. So just so as you understand how that the Nova is receiving the information from the kick drum, it's receiving it as a side chain input, as we talked before, as from audio 3 and 4. Okay. Okay, so that's what I've done to the kick and the bass drum so far. So what we'll do is, if we drop everything out of solo, and that includes my mic, so drop them out, and we'll drop me out, and we'll listen to the whole mix, and I'll take out the distortion on the bass, and you can hear how the bass note's going to disappear.
With some friends of mine down in Hollywood, just wasting time. I knew right then nobody could get me down, 'cause I was taking myself out on the town. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time.
So now what we've got is the kick and the bass sitting nicely together. The bass is ducking out a little bit around the frequencies that I want when the kick hits. But the bass has also got that little bit of distortion on it, the harmonic distortion that helps it to come through the mix generally, so that you can hear the individual notes of the bass. That's what I'm trying to do with that. You know, I'm doing this on headphones for you guys. I hope you can hear what I hear when I'm listening to it on the speakers. So that's kind of where I'm at with this so far. I mean, there's a few other little things I'll go through in the next video, but once again, thank you so much for the response to these videos. You guys are amazing. You really are. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, you know, all the usuals: like, subscribe, share, tell people about it, get your friends to watch, and get your granny as well. I don't care. Get them, bring them all. Cheers, folks. Nice to see you again. Bye now.